Okay, we're doing the third part. I want to say it again. Remember, we're not doing a cookbook recipe for how to do this because the cake will never rise, so to speak, among other things. Now, I'm going to go quickly to the part of how to discuss this. All right? Now, to discuss this, you've got to ask for something. And you have to ask, when you were first dating, that whole thing about dating, did you miss? You want to ask your friend. That was your friend that you were dating. All right? They weren't your spouse. They weren't your partner. That was your friend. So you have to ask your friend. And what you have to ask your friend for? I need your help. And asking for your help, you're going to own something that they can come into and assist you. All right? Now, there's something about asking for help. Believe it or not, you're opening up a part where you're going to lead, but you can lead differently. There's two ways of leading. And I have fun with this part, so don't be bothered here. You can lead like this is a cattle drive, and you want to whip those cattle and yell at them, hey, move up. You can lead that way. God knows you'll move the herd. They won't like it, but you'll move them. Or you could look to see, how could I lead like a shepherd? When shepherds come together, they got their flock, they're walking, and the sheep follow the leader of the flock. Goes over a hill and joins another shepherd. They sit, they have food, they talk. This is how they do it. Haven't you seen movies like this? And then when they have to depart, one says, I'll get up, and he said, we're leaving, and he leaves. All the sheep that belong to that shepherd follow him. They don't separate the brands because that one knows how to create and cause to be followed, where they trust, admire, and they know that one will always take care of them if they follow. Now, being on a cattle drive or as a shepherd is really the one you got to look at. Cattle drive won't get you very far. All right, now, you then have to say, I need your help, because what's missing is I miss you as my friend. And somehow we've just gotten to have sex together. And before, we'd be friends together. We'd be intimate together. We'd be close together. And then we'd have sex. So look at all those have been taken away. And all you do is, really what you're doing is like, we shall now have orgasms for each other. Who should go first? Who should be on top? Who should whatever? See, you've taken out all the good stuff and you've saved just the behavior. For most people, sex is an orgasm. I have nothing against orgasms. But you know what? It's not a variety to orgasms. It's a variety of being intimate. Now, I say this because this is not a cookbook recipe. You're going to have to do some work here. And the work that you're going to have to do is how you offer, how you become the shepherd or the cattle driver. It's up to you. We'll stop here and we'll continue in just a minute. All right, now, this is the part I'm excited about. In the last piece, we talked about whether you're going to be a cattle driver or you're going to be a shepherd. Obviously, you will get different outcomes depending which one you choose. Now, my recommendation is consider being the good shepherd. However, we have to change it a little bit because we don't want you getting long hair and robes and a staff and sandals and going through the desert of the Middle East. No. We have to make this somewhat consistent with our culture. So the kind of shepherd, the context for you being a shepherd is to be an experimenter, like a scientist. But you're going to be a different kind of scientist. You're going to be the scientist that observes things in their natural setting. Now, the experiment you could be on is, how do I convey what I've discovered, what I'm learning about, looking at? And you can't use the things about being critical, angry, resentful, hostile, nasty, which will move cattle, but not your partner. Oh, you'll move them right further away from you, and they'll be less available, less responsive, and you'll even diminish whatever intimacy could be resurrected and grown. So you have to see experimenting. Now, here's the other. I have to do both sides all the time. You could do nothing. You'll get the same. You could do the same, and you'll get nothing. If you experiment, you could discover things about you that could do something to the person next to you, that could have them join you. And like, what are you doing? You're doing something different here. Can I be a part of that? And as soon as you're leading with the experiment, you're going to have a willing partner wondering, well, what are you doing here? Can I be a part of that? That's what happened when you first got together. It's like, oh, I'm curious about you, and maybe we could spend time there. Well, I'm interested in that experiment too. You started out experimenting, and then you gave it up. Big mistake. Where I am, you should be experimenting all the time. I'll know how alive and enthusiastic you are in your relationship or your marriage by the degree of experimenting that you're doing, that you're up to. Now, we talked about friends earlier. I just want to tie this in. I don't know how well of a job I can do. When you tie in experimenting in friends, you're going back to the early part of the relationship, which two kids got together to play. What I'm encouraging you is to experiment as friends so you can play as adults, and you can have all the orgasms you'd like.